back to my point about communication. We have got to figure out some way to communicate more, because this isn't something we can do on our own, something you can do on your own. This is, like I tell staff in the department, this is a team effort. We're all in this together. So we will figure out a way to improve communication, but that's we're going to need you to do that. We'll figure out when are good times to talk. And as things move forward and loosen up, that'll be a lot easier. Right now it's kind of difficult, but we understand we're there to make it better. To just hope we'll hang in there a little bit more. It is not personal for me, Helen, you know that, because you and I have good conversations. There's a couple other folks in the community that I have good conversations with, and I'm not afraid to take the shots when I know people are trying to point out where we can be better. So I appreciate that.
This is Helen speaking. I don't understand what you mean by things are going to loosen up.
Right now, my hands are tied. There is very little movement that I can do. Until my hands become untied, there isn't a whole lot that can be done. Once issues get settled, then things can start to move. So that's what I mean by that.
I'm an interpreter, and I'm using my best skills. I think that means that I need you to explain further. Do you mean when the issue with Cheryl Emery is resolved? Is that what you're saying to me?
What that means is, as much as I hear we need a director, temporary director, deaf person in that seat, I don't disagree with that. I cannot put somebody in there. Until that freedom of putting Cheryl back there or bringing in somebody new is until that decision is made, I'm stuck. We're stuck. And I'm just asking you to hang there until that gets figured out. Does that help?
That's really good.
This is Mel speaking. And I myself need some clarification too. So if we could go back to the point of what Ward was saying when we were discussing about whether or not we were going to be doing out or having another call for raters. I know it's not Tuesday yet, but I'm just curious for myself and possibly for the audience and maybe those who are not here. Could you please elaborate a bit about what it is that the qualifications are going to be and what exactly you're looking for? If you could help us start thinking about what that process is.
I don't have it finalized yet. This is Lori speaking. I don't have it finalized yet, but some recommendations where there's going to be changes are the criteria for individuals who are hearing. Initially, it said that they should hold a BEI Advanced or the BEI Master. What we're looking at, wording it to, is that they should hold a level 3 certificate. For the individuals who are deaf, that hasn't been finalized yet, but we're looking at stating that it would be preferred if they become DI certified when that becomes available, not that it's a mandatory requirement. Another thing that we're looking at is the possibility of the video becoming mandatory to be sent in. The way the rating reads now is that a detailed summary or a video. We are also looking those are like the majority that I can think of off the top of my head. Again, I have to go through the list of things that I have to write out. Oh, the reference letters. That will become part of it as well, an individual submitting reference letters along with it. And then, as I said, because of these changes, I will extend the deadline out. But we are on a deadline with Texas. I know there was concern that this information was coming to me, but as the director who has oversight over the division, basically my role is only ensuring that every individual has provided us with the required documentation, and then all the information is going to be sent to Texas to the individuals who who are conducting the training, for them to review the videos, them to review the references, to determine who should be put in either the advanced training, the beginner training, or if they don't feel that the skills are significant, to participate in the training at all.
Chair Whalen speaking. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else here who may need some clarification? Okay, doesn't seem to be. Any additional questions or comments related to this? Chair recognizes Liz.
This is Liz. If this topic is discussion finished, I was wondering if it would be okay, with apologies, to ask Mr. Risa about the deaf culture training that was discussed during the April meeting, whether that has taken place. This was a training within Michigan Disability Rights. Thank you.
This is Matt. Yes, I do recall that conversation from the previous meeting that Noah had. To be perfectly honest, we haven't done anything with that.
This is Liz again. So I'm just going to repeat my request that the hard of hearing population training be included. Thank you.
No, so noted. My apologies. That will stay on the list of things to do. Thanks for keeping the calendar for that.
Chair Whalen speaking. Is there any way that we could help to make that happen?
This is Matt. From my perspective, and I don't want to step on Lori's phone because she's the operations director, I think there's a lot of things the advisory council can help on. And that goes to my point about more communication. You know, there seems to be a lot of miscommunication, uncertainty with respect to bringing this meeting together. And now I know you and I talked, if we had talked about a month ago, you know, we need to move forward whether we have quorum or not because there's information that has to come out. And provided we didn't have major decisions to make, you know, this needs to happen. You're the chair, appointed by the governor. But as I understand it, there is no executive committee. I don't know if you guys are interested in creating an executive committee so that when you're unavailable, there's somebody else who kind of has the authority to speak on behalf of the board. You know, that might help. These are just thoughts. That might help with, communication. But as other ideas come up on what we might be able to do, both as a board and as a department, to improve the quality of life for the community, we need to have those conversations with people that are willing to help. I know there's people willing to help, they just don't really know how to do it. Or maybe because they've had a bad experience, they don't want to come forward. We need to fix that.
Chair Whalen speaking. Well, that's a wonderful idea, and I would be happy to talk about some additional people that could possibly come in and help us and make that work. So, and take my place when I'm not available. So if you could let me know how exactly what that process is to make that happen. I don't know if I should just appoint someone, or how does that work?
Well, this is Matt. In my opinion, it should be a discussion with your full board to see who might be interested in, number one, forming an executive committee, what offices you want to have, and then how do you want to go about it. But this is a kind of an offline discussion that you and I and whoever else is interested can do, so we don't take the time here. I think it's important. What's going to be important for me is we got to create some lines of communication so that we're not the only time we're talking is when somebody's upset about something. We got to be able to tell jokes too.
Chair Whalen speaking. This is just going to be my comment on what I think would help with some of the communication issues, is that I know for myself as a therapist, when I'm working, I'm sitting in my office and it's quiet. quiet and there's no phone ringing and I don't answer the video phone and I take 10-minute breaks to just quickly read emails. So for me, that is the best way to communicate is through email. So I know historically in your office that you tend to get a hold of us and ask us whether or not we can talk. Talk means a phone call for me. Talk demands a lot of time, and that means I have to sit down in front of a computer, and that may mean I need to flip a coin about whether or not I'm going to have a good interpreter. So I think it's vital. I would really feel like I would prefer that we do more emails because I can read quickly, and I think most of us can, and it's nice to have things in writing. Sometimes, for me, that's cultural issues too. Sometimes to make a phone call is, again, a good question about whether or not I'm going to have a good interpreter. And if that interpreter can represent me and everything I'm trying to say. So that's something to think about. Yes?
This is Matt. That's stuff I would have never thought about. So that's why we need to have this conversation, either by email or some other way. Because I would not have thought about this thing you just mentioned. But that's the first step towards figuring out the lines of communication, in my opinion.
Wayland speaking. Thank you. Is there any additional comments? Anyone? Liz?
This is Liz. I think that the people who apply to serve on this council, when I speak as someone who hates to fill out forms, we don't apply to this council to just come to a meeting every couple of months. Okay? As a volunteer, every council, every board that I've served on has been a working board. Give me something to do, and I will do it to the best of my ability. I don't think that it builds morale to just come to a meeting, and especially at a time like this, sorry, but the agenda was mailed out around noon today. I was already on my way here. So it would be nice to be able to preview minutes ahead of time as well. And I know how difficult this is, okay? This is not a knock on any individual person. I just think that we're here for a reason. We are a working board. We want to be a working board. We want to contribute more than just every couple of months. Thank you.
Chair Wayland speaking. Thank you, Liz. Any additional comments? Anything else on that topic? Sounds like there's a helicopter that's about to land right here. Helen says, and Frida says, any VIPs on board? On that note, I think that we can maybe be excused a little early for dinner. I do want to let those who are on the council know and special invited guests that we will be having our dinner available at 5:20. So we have 10 minutes to make your way there slowly. It is in the Hickory Room. So if you're unaware of where that is, I think there's a sign that may point you in that direction. I have no idea where that is. So for the rest of the people attending, I'm sorry that you're unable to join us, but there are plenty of restaurants in the area, so please return back at 6:30. Also, I wanted to let you know that we should have more time later for public comments. So if you want to share something, if you have an announcement of any news, then please feel free to fill out one of those blue slips of paper. And